Well, the Australian team has been knocked out of the Women's T20 World Cup, having been beaten by South Africa in the semi-final. Time to unpack the game here on Cricbuzz. South Africa won the toss and elected to bowl first and got their lines and lengths perfect. Australia struggled to find the boundary, Beth Mooney only going a runner ball, Talia McGrath, Georgia Wareham strike rate under 100. But thanks to Phoebe Litchfield and a little bit of a cameo by Perry at the end, got Australia up to 134 for 5. Then South Africa came in and they went bang bang, probably from the third over onwards. First Tasman Brits and Laura Woolfart put on an opening partnership that just steadied the ship. But then when Brits went, it was Annika Bosch's time. And she swept her way to a wonderful innings of 74 not out and set up the victory with a wonderful 96-run partnership between Laura Woolfart and herself. In the end, the Australians did not have an answer, with South Africa beating the Australian team for the first time in a T20 World Cup. What we learnt, and we've probably learnt throughout this tournament, if you don't turn up and play your best cricket, you will get beaten. And tonight it was Australia's hard lesson. They just were outplayed pretty much in all facets of the game. They weren't able to adapt to situations, and they were certainly not at their best. Whereas South Africa, they were very focused. They knew exactly what they needed to do. They needed to create history, and they did exactly that. We saw that South Africa certainly have a belief amongst them. Paul Adams is talking about poems, visualization. They seem to have a group that is happy, and yet they've got this wonderful leader in Laura Woolfart who keeps things in check. Very cool, very calm and collected when she's out in the middle. Even when they won, she kept her emotions in check. The other thing that, from an Australian point of view, again, key partnerships. Australia isn't able sometimes to break them, and there doesn't seem to be maybe a plan B or a plan C that they try. They keep trying the same plan and it doesn't work. Albeit it's worked for them for so many times, they hope that the opposition is going to crumble under the pressure that they put, but not South Africa and not tonight. Best on ground has to go to Annika Bosch. What a wonderful innings. Coming in at number 3, has been given a number of opportunities and probably didn't take it, but she seemed to have a plan, and once she got one boundary away, it felt like she unlocked the secrets to what she needed to do to score runs against an Australian attack. The fact that she remained unbeaten, 74 not out of 48 deliveries, and even when it was a run and ball 40, she still knew what she needed to do. It was an impressive innings by her, and no doubt will hopefully hold them in good stead as they're looking for their first title. Impact players, well, a big shout out to the skipper Laura Woolfart. I thought she handled the bowlers exceptionally well, but then also her innings. She probably was the one sitting back and taking note of what Annika Bosch was doing, and probably helping her through that innings. I think she played a wonderful foil for what Bosch was doing from one end, and just was able to find a boundary, but also to keep the scoreboard going in the right direction. From an Australian point of view, well, Annabelle Sutherland, she bowled exceptionally well. She picked up the first wicket, top of off. Maybe the Australians thought, here we go, here's a chance to jump in. That, in the end, wasn't to be the case, but certainly a wonderful effort with the ball in hand. She's had an excellent tournament. It's probably Ash Gardner. I think it was like maybe the 13th over or 12th over. She bowled to Annika Bosch and she took her for 13 runs, 3 fours in that. And you felt like that was the turning point because the Australians were keeping it somewhat in check. But as soon as that over went, it tipped to South Africa by a long way. And then also the fact that right at the end of Australia's innings, Tasman Brits took a wonderful catch on the boundary. It could have gone for 6, and if it did, maybe the Australians closer to that 140 mark, things might have been different. But she took the catch and then was able to translate that positivity with the bat in hand. But for me, the biggest moment was a celebration for South Africa. What a victory to beat Australia in a semi-final, a side that is used to being in these big occasions, and they simply outplayed them. There was tears, there was cheers, there was laughter, there was hugs, but then there was also an eye to the job that still needs to be done. They've still got one more match in hand. So South Africa have secured their place in another T20 World Cup final, which will take place on Sunday at Dubai International Stadium. Who they play up against, we have to wait and see. The next semi-final takes place. It's between West Indies and New Zealand. And if New Zealand find their way into the final, we may see a new winner of the T20 World Cup, which would be pretty special.